Before the war came Max and Pauline. In 1939 and even before that, the world was beginning to be horrified by Hitler's persecution of the Jews. It was, I think, on Christmas Day that the British government had said that they would open the doors to Jewish children, and some others, if they were fully sponsored. This meant, to all intents and purposes, adoption.
My name is Max Rubinstein. I was born on the 24th of June, 1929. My mother was Vera, and my father was Esau. And I had two brothers. George was the oldest, and Robert, who was 1 year younger than him. And my sister Pauline, I am the youngest. We lived by the beach, which was wonderful, until the Germans came in. Crystal night, we were all in the living room, and somebody threw a rock through our window. My parents said, stay in the house, don't go out. And we heard a lot of noise outside, so we stayed home. My brothers, George and Robert, they were too old to go on the kinder transport. They went to England 1 year before we left. I left Sapat with my sister on May the 3rd, 1939. My parents took us to this bus with other children, and we got on the bus and said goodbye, and that was the last time we ever saw our parents. The bus went through Hamburg, and I saw the Nazis marching. Then we went to the train station, got on the train, wound up in Berlin, and I looked out of the window and I saw Hitlerstrasse with big swastikas on all the buildings. And then finally the train moved and we wound up in Holland. The next day we got on the ship and wound up in England. The Whitakers treated me very well. I loved them. That's how good they were. The Whitakers were Christadelphians, and there were many more Christadelphians in the neighborhood. Most of them took in children from Europe. I had to go to church every Sunday. The Christadelphian people at the church were very nice. My sister got sick, and the Whitakers sent me on vacation to Leeds. So while I was in Leeds, I got a letter telling my sister passed away. And then I went back to the Whitakers, and well, life went on until they sent me away. And then many years later, when we were in England with the Whitaker son, and his wife gave me part of a diary, and I went back to the hotel after we had dinner together, and I read it, and then I realized Pauline had TB and had a spot on my lung. And then I knew they sent me away because they figured their son could die and I could die, but it never happened.
If you could say one thing to the Whitakers today, what would you say to them?
If it wouldn't have been for you people taking Pauline and I in, I probably would have been dead by now. So I'm very happy what you did. Kept me alive.